You got. Hello.
Oh.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. Didn't
How
see
are
you.
All right. I was not ready. That countdown was silent for the last 5 seconds.
Oh.
So, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Dead by
Hi.
Daylight community.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling. We had a lot of action in the last few weeks. So
It was busy.
It's been super interesting,
So,
to say the least.
First off, hi. I am not Queen. I think it's been 6 months, like since we've seen each other. So I'm really glad to be here today. Obviously, I'm rare as a unicorn. There you go. With us, the nice bunny, we have Justin Banks. Justin Cottontail
Banks.
Banks.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh,
He chose his name himself.
Well, we didn't get it into the actual screen. I can see, but that's fine. It's cool. It's cool.
All right.
Also, not my outfit. This is what happens when you're told you're going to be wearing an outfit and you don't have one. And it looks weird if you're the one that doesn't have the outfit, so you just go along with it anyway.
Yeah.
For people who know Pat, she's the one that owns the outfit.
Oh.
So it makes a lot of sense.
And is much shorter than me. This is very tight.
All right. And right here we have...
Hi, I'm Louis McGraw and a gameplay programmer.
Perfect. All right. But you're spooky today.
But spooky.
But spooky. Awesome. So, guys, the mid-chapter is out. Cutting it short. We're here. We're live. The archive was turned off for a couple of minutes, hours earlier today, but it's been turned back on, for PS4, Steam, and Xbox. Just make sure. As for the plan for the stream today, so really quickly, we're going to go over dedicated servers. We're going to go over Switch. We're going to go over archive update, obviously. We're going to discuss a little bit the Halloween contest. We have a surprise for you as well that I'm not gonna spoil right now.
Surprise!
And we're gonna discuss that blood hunt that some people heard about.
The what?
The what?
No idea. Not
The
a clue.
what? All right, guys. So let's start this right away with dedicated servers. So I'm here today to explain to you, because there was a lot of questions. We said, hey, we're doing tests during October. Then we did one test that we stopped. Then we turned them back on. And since then,
They've just been on.
They just been on. And there's not been a lot of communication about it. So the reason why there was not a lot of communication about it is because there was always questions about, like, hey, should we turn them off and on again? Yes, no. So the reasons why they are still on right now is that they allow us to make changes in the back end, behind the scenes, that do not require updates for players. So changes in matchmaking, a lot more dynamical changes because of the dedicated servers. We also gather a lot of feedback for data, a lot of data, to basically isolate bugs and issues and all the gameplay stuff that is sometimes a little bit surprising on dedicated server. But most importantly, and I think a lot of people here are going to be like, okay, that makes sense. It also allows us to run tests for the new disconnecting handling.
Right.
So
People ask us about that a lot.
Yes.
Disconnect penalties when and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to be able, basically, to make that happen in a timely manner, let's say it that way, basically, we need to test that. So to make sure that we track the disconnect properly, people are not getting falsely timed out and everything, we need to keep them on. So that's the reasons why they are on right now. However, we're looking into major issues on dedicated servers, specifically Myers and Nurse, some issues with the power. We know about that hard interactions, and basically we need and we will review all interactions, but that will take more time than just a fix.
Today's patch does have some dedicated server-related fixes. It doesn't fix every issue, but it's got a bunch of them, including some really nice fixes for projectiles. compared to what people have been experiencing on dedicated servers recently.
Yeah. So yeah, basically to go back, so that's pretty much all we have for dedicated servers today. So they will stay on PC until further notice. Unless we notice you, they are on.
What about the consoles?
What about console? No ETA yet. So that's all we can say on that one. Awesome. So Archive and Rift live. He's like, yes.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally.
That's your baby.
Been waiting for this day.
And okay, so Halloween contest winners, we will announce them tomorrow. We're voting within the dev team right now, and I think a lot of people are very impressed with the results this year. My personal favorite is the craft section. It's really cool. All right, really quickly, again, once I'm done with information, you're gonna stop listening to me, and these guys are gonna talk. Blood Hunt tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. EST, ET, EDT.
Eastern's always good.
Eastern,
Yeah.
right. Up to Monday, November 4th, 11. So this will be for every platform, including Switch. Switch does not have the update yet. We know about that. We don't have an ETA. We do have major issues we have to fix on Switch at the moment. We cannot release it in the state it is. So that really is sad, but that's the reality. So the surprise, I think we're up to the surprise right now.
I'm ready for a surprise.
Yeah.
Like I said,
It's
I already
a
know what it is.
Surprise, guys.
I'm going to feign ignorance and pull a Matt Cote and say, what is it?
What is it?
What?
So we're live, so we don't have special effects.
Oh.
Like poof.
Yeah, no disappearing Dave today.
All right. So basically, it's about the contest that we had back in Anniversary. Remember those community outfits that we actually chose, and you guys were super happy, and you're like, when? Well, I can't tell you when, but I can show you work in progress images if you guys want, obviously. So,
I don't think they want it.
no?
I think we
okay,
can
we
just skip
should
that.
maybe skip
Yeah.
it and go to the Q&A.
Just kidding, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go with the first one. So remember, we had a Fang outfit and a clown outfit. So this is the model that we're gonna ship with Fang. These concepts were voted by chosen by our creative director, our art director, as well as our store manager. Or what's his exact?
Both our titles are product manager, but his is for the store, mine's
Yeah.
for events and other
So remind you, this is a skin from the community, though. So I'm really bad, and I don't have the name right here, but I'm pretty sure we have a mod or anyone here in the chat that can give us the name of that winner. It started with an A, but that's all I remember. I'm so sorry.
I'll give you an A for effort.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see the other one.
stuff. All right.
So yeah.
This is my new favorite cosmetic in the game.
So this is basically what's been done from the community concept. This is one of our concept artists' working documents. So we do have an actual T-pose.
No way.
Yes, and it's my favorite.
So creepy.
Yo, that trunk is so rigid and stiff.
Also,
So
not touching that one.
Obviously, this is a T-pose, so it's not going to be like that. There's going to be actual movement,
Do you think we need it? I think it's fine.
or we could leave it like that.
It's done. Yo, this is looking a little bit like our very own Cottontail. What do you think?
Yeah, when you cut back to me, I feel a real oneness with this outfit.
A real onesie, you might say.
Holy,
Yeah. So
Louis on fire today.
from those concepts,
I'm really hot under
I know,
here.
it's so toasty. Oh
from
my.
those concepts, we also have the 3D models that are starting to get done, and we have the clown weapon. So can we see the clown weapon? It looks really cool.
That's neat.
Yeah. So that's the clown weapon, and then finally we're going back to Fang with the actual 3D model. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like what it's called, right? Because there's multiple level of There you go.
She'll probably have hair.
She'll have hair, she'll have
Probably
textures
yeah,
and
color.
colors
Yeah.
and everything. So yeah, so that's where we are with these outfits. Again, I cannot tell you an ETA on the release, but we're doing pretty good. Yeah, awesome.
So far.
So, oh, you did it, you crazy person.
I hope you burn in that outfit, Louis.
Oh man.
All right, guys. So basically, the reason why we're here today, after all these information,
Yeah.
was the original Q&A that was planned like a week or so ago. And we're here for that. So Justin's going to talk to us a lot
Let me
about
let's just get that out of the way so I can see it. Oh, that's still. Thank you. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Perfect. So Justin's going to talk to us about the archive, and I'm like McLean.
Yeah.
Louis
Yeah.
is going to talk to us about gameplay changes. So we gathered all the questions from a thread in the forums where we actually ask you guys, what do you want to ask in the Q&A? So I'm going to read the questions to you guys, and let's see what the answers are. So first questions for the archive. Will the tomes and Riff level be harder to complete as you progress?
So these are two separate things. The tome levels will actually get harder. So as we release tome level 1, 2, 3, 4, those will get more difficult. However, the Rift will always be the same progression. So each tier on the Rift is always going to be 10 Rift fragments. But earning those Rift fragments will be more difficult as you get harder challenges.
So instead of like, unhooking safely 2 people, it could be like unhooking safely 20 people.
Yeah, exactly. So it could just be unhooking more. But in the case of our master challenges, it could be instead of get maybe 2 safe unhooks in a match, it's get 2 safe unhooks in a match as a character or with a certain perk.
So with more conditions.
Exactly.
Okay, so harder to get because of the more conditions.
Exactly.
You also get Rift fragments from
Playing the game.
Just playing the game.
Well,
Yes.
this is a good example. For example, people who unlocked or looked at the Rift earlier and were like, wow, how is it that I have levels unlocked already? I didn't play it yet. It's because we had made some change in the back end, and you guys were actually accumulating progress towards the Rift just from playing the game. So on top of doing the archive challenges, you can also earn some fragment from just playing.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's the other side where every 800 XP that you earn just from playing the game, you should earn 1 Rift fragment. But as Gab said,
This person is saying that we're not live. Sam Hunt, 1222. We're live, my friend.
Live.
All right.
I mean, that's me. It's right there.
Yeah.
I think we're live.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yes,
go ahead, sorry.
So what the issue was and why we had taken archives off today is because we weren't aware of that. So if you had played the game in the past week and a half, we pushed a back-end change. And so we basically started tracking your XP in that time. So if you played in the past week and a half, you've got a little bit of progress on the Rift already.
So
It wasn't PTB progress.
No, and the reason why we turned the archive off is because we want to make sure that this issue we were seeing or this progress we were seeing was not going to cause more issue later.
Yes.
So now that we know that it's not going to cause more issue, well, enjoy your free progress.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, you earned it.
Well, technically.
Technically.
Yeah. But you didn't know you earned it. It's kind of a Halloween spooky scary progress.
Right.
All right.
It's one of those good bugs that I don't think we deliver a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, the kind of bugs that I will not fight to get fixed.
Okay.
All right, on this, let's go with our second question. So Exerlin is asking, will item on the Riff become available for purchase after the Riff expires? If so, will they only be available for Auric cells?
Okay, so we lightly touched on this, I think, in the initial post that we made, where we had said items in the Rift will be available, or sorry, most items from the Rift will be available in the store for a minimum of 6 months after the Rift closes.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, we're looking at more of like a year, something like this.
A year is like 1 year of exclusive content. That's pretty cool.
From the moment that the Rift closes
Yeah.
as well. So the reason that we're doing this is because we are, one, trying to actually determine like a real plan for how we want to get this to the players, because we want to make sure it's available to as many people as possible, but we also want to make sure that we have thought this through and we're not trying to just rush it out. But you can expect things that are seasonal, so like the Hallowed Catalyst Nurse and those other charms. These are things that we want to bring back for next Halloween. So anything that is seasonal related to an event that we celebrate, that's something that you can guarantee will be coming back the next year.
Yeah, and for the currency part, because they were asking if it was only an Auric cell or,
So currently uncertain, and we're still discussing that.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. Fish Fry 247 is asking, should we expect the same amount of free and paid cosmetic in future Rifts? Or will each one be unique in its item count, basically?
So we're trying to set kind of like a good distribution between, let's say it's the free and paid, I guess the question was.
Yeah.
So we want to stick to this, but I mean, if we see data as we go on from players, there's room to change, but there's currently no plans to.
All right. Boss is asking, what were the motives behind creating the Rift?
So for this, we wanted to create a new way for players to actually just earn rewards from simply playing the game. So since you're given challenges and XP that go towards progressing the Rift, you're really just playing the same game, but you're getting more really cool rewards.
All right. White Hole Owl. I have trouble with that word.
White Owl?
White Owl.
Yeah.
Thank you. Looking at the content in the PTB Rift, it didn't seem the cosmetics are linked in some ways, except the event one. Will it always be that way, or will we see Rift with a main theme in the future?
So, from the PTB, it didn't seem like they were linked because we didn't have any of our stories or the collection menu available. Now, since you'll see that we have a story for Claudette, Trapper, etc., that is what's linking back to the characters that we have in the Rift. There are still some that we have outfits for that are not linked, but that's always going to be expected. But the highest rarity ones, we're trying to tie those into the story so it makes sense. Like, this is the outfit the character did at this point in time, or this was an outfit from a very important moment in that character's life.
Okay.
So the Rift is focused on a couple of characters at a time, but there will be some stuff for other characters. Since
Exactly.
You don't necessarily play the ones that are in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's cool about the charms, is those will be applicable to any character anyway.
Yeah, that's so you can have that cute little Claudette on everything. Princess Poop, nice name, is asking, what is the purpose of having the archive levels time locked? Why stop player from completing the archives at their own pace?
Okay, so for this one, we wanted to kind of treat the archives and all of its stories really episodically, so we want the players to be coming back to see what's new in the stories and what new challenges there are regularly. Because we have all the lore that is distributed across levels 1, 2, 3, and some extra stuff going on in 4, that's incentive for players to really come back and understand like what's happening to these characters.
Okay.
And I think the advantage of that as well is, it stops players from burning out, because I know it's a lot of super cool content. If this was all available to me from the start, you probably wouldn't be able to stop me. So I think that's a nice little bonus.
I'm looking forward to how it's going to make sure that we have the most players possible at the same point possible,
Exactly.
so people are going to be kind of into the same thing at the same time.
I think it really helps for matchmaking, making sure we keep on bringing players back.
All right. Theoretical heart. Since Putrid Serum is found in the Rift this year, does that mean we can collect it until the Rift closes? Or will Putrid Serum be removed from the Rift after the Withering Blight event ends? These words are not easy for a French person, just saying.
You're doing a good job.
Okay.
We're talking about Withering Blight?
Yeah,
Wait,
and the Rift, no. Putrid Serum and Theoretical.
That's good.
I still messed it up. Anyways.
That's okay. To answer that question,
Yeah.
it is the first one. So Putrid Serum is available in the Rift right now in various stacks. If you get enough, obviously, you can use that on some of the Hallowed Catalyst or Hallowed Blight outfits. This will be available in the Rift until the Rift closes, so it's a full 70 days. It is not tied to the Withering Blight event. So once the Withering Blight expires, you are still able to earn all of your Putrid Serum until the Rift expires.
So on your own rhythm with
Exactly,
your
yeah.
Okay. Avoset is asking, will the archive replace the current daily ritual system, or will both exist at the same time?
So there's currently no plans to do it, but it's something that we are discussing.
Oh, okay. That was shorter than
Oh, I mean, this is what he was.
I was like,
it's pretty clear that
okay,
like
I see.
there
yeah,
are two
that's
systems that are kind of doing similar-ish
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
but it's definitely too early to scrap daily rituals.
Well, at the moment, there's kind of an issue on daily rituals, so it's great that we have challenges.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Candy Killer is asking, can we expect to see some cosmetics that were already released in the store to show up in the free or premium pass in the Rift? We already know that we'll get color variation of those skins, but what about existing one?
So to answer that, it's only variations of existing stuff that will appear inside the Rift. We're never going to put an exact copy of an item from the store into the Rift. Reason for that is it will always be something new that's available to you. And the reason we're doing those color variants is because we have some items that we think are really cool, but we want to make them more interesting to you guys. So we're changing the colors, the textures, to something that we think is a little bit more interesting.
So the model was really cool, but by changing the texture, you're expecting having more attention on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And more people wearing them. Awesome.
Fashion by daylight.
Fashion, yeah.
Are we not fashionable right now?
Are you the one deciding on this? No, this one's not.
Look at this
going.
palette of color experts we have here.
You had to say palette, didn't you?
Palette.
You had to.
It works on multiple levels.
Feel
Yeah.
triggered.
The pun master. All right, Dead by Tunnel Light is asking, as a survivor main, I can't do these tasks to unlock charms because I don't want to play as killer. Can you do tasks only for survivors and only for killer?
So we do have roughly half of the challenges for survivors, half for killers. I believe the charms they're talking about are the completion charms.
Yeah.
So these you earn when you reach the end of each level of the tome. And you can reach the end as survivor or as killer. It's accessible in both ways. So regardless of what role you play, you can earn all 4 of these completion charms.
But if you want to go faster with the Rift, then you have to play both sides.
Exactly.
All right. If you're not, you can still earn Rift Fragment by just playing the game. So you're
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Like if you play a lot, dozens of matches, eventually that XP is going to stack up and can kind of make up for not playing the role that you don't like so much.
Oh.
So
Alright.
regardless, if you finish, like let's say, all your survivor quests, you're still earning XP towards the Rift.
All right. Sensual Satan is asking.
Oh, boy.
Seriously, you guys with the names, you're killing me. Will you add auric cells and more stuff to the free track on the Rift?
So currently no plans, but as a reminder, we do have the Putrid Serum that is in the free track, and with that you can earn a full 2 outfits from Hallowed Blight and Hallowed Catalyst.
Yeah, and you only miss like 1 hour or so on the event, so we're good, right? For the event.
Oh, for like the actual the Rift? Yeah, they're fine. It's good. And as a reminder, the Spirit Hallowed Catalyst outfit, get that one. Get that one.
As a reminder, okay.
As a reminder, buy our stuff.
I was like, okay, as a reminder,
I'm doing Leo's job for him right now. I'm pitching his goods.
It's your favorite? I really like the hag one.
Oh yes, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I like Ninja Jake.
Yeah, he looks pretty cool.
He looks pretty awesome.
I've seen Monto's
His
disguise
cosplay is great.
really cool.
Yeah, man, that's good.
All right, I don't know how to say your name, so I'm gonna call you Appa. If I make progress on the free track, then later decide to switch to the premium track, will the premium items from the tiers I've unlocked be available, or do I have to unlock the premium pass from the start to get them?
So so to kind of rephrase, if you have made progress on the free track, and let's say you reach tier 20, and then you unlock the Rift Pass, you will also get all of the rewards that are on the premium track up to tier 10. So the progress is not independent. It's linked between the two. So technically you have earned the rewards on the premium, but you will only receive them once you own the Rift Pass as well.
Okay.
So you could, if you want, go all the way to tier 70 on the free, and then decide that you actually want to get the Rift Pass.
So then you unlock it, then you get your 1,000 cells back, and you're like,
It's effectively free.
Easy.
And then you have the 1,000 cells that you can use for the next one.
all right. Jammy Jewels. will only base game / free character be receiving Rift items? Because in the first one, that's what we see.
Exactly. So for the first one, we really wanted to try to stick to some of our, let's say, like our free characters to make sure everyone had access to this. Some of our more original ones that released earlier on. As time goes on, we do want to tell stories about other characters, DLC characters. So we will be doing a mix, but we are being very careful to make sure that there are enough that do appeal to free players and to DLC owners at the same time.
Yeah. Also, when people say DLC characters, we're talking about original creations.
Exactly.
And on top of it, it's not the same on PC or on console. For some PC users, some DLC are not free, and for console, it's in the base game. So since the SKUs are so different, we still need to cover all our characters.
So the only limitation we're currently saying is in place is that it's going to be original characters and not licensed characters.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, a random nerd. Will there ever be a DLC killer challenge in the archive? Wait, that was like literally almost the same. Oh no, it was on the challenge side.
It links back to
No.
the previous question.
Yeah.
So yes, so like let's say if we, let's say for the next one we have a license or a DLC killer that is being used in one of the stories, then what we would have is maybe a challenge where you need to use that killer's perk or that killer specifically.
But
So
what if I don't have the perk?
So if you don't have the perk, what we are doing is rotating some of these perks into the Shrine of Secrets so that when it's most relevant to one of the levels, when they release, so let's say level 2 releases and it involves a certain perk, during that week of the Shrine of Secrets, we'll make sure that perk is available.
So barbecue and chili challenge when?
Well, I think it's available now, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Go get it.
If you really want to go get it.
Just making jokes. All right, that's cool. Is that also why we the levels are? Is it level the page that
Levels.
you're adding? Yeah, levels, because there's multiple level of levels. So sometimes I'm not sure if the word we
No
chose.
worries. There's lots of new terms with the archives.
Yeah. So that helps with having a time limit on the levels as well.
Right. Since they're time gated, we're able to make sure that the shrine will be in place with the right perks at the right time.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you. If you have anything else to add on archive at some point, don't hesitate to stop us.
I think that is good. Now the spotlight's on Louis, and I will stay here in my bunny outfit.
Cool.
All right. How are you?
I'm really hot in this costume, honestly.
Yeah, right? You should have taken your pants off.
Oh my God, can she say that?
Are you calling HR right now? Is that what's happening?
I think there's a certain other someone in our game that has their pants off.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. I was
Segue!
No, it's not like it was planned or anything.
No, it wasn't.
I have a note here on my.
Nice.
It just says Pantsless Myers in really big font on the back of my page here. Pantsless Myers. We couldn't give you shirtless Myers. We gave you Pantsless Myers. You're welcome.
He's stealing all these puns from other people.
Oh,
Okay.
I can't believe the bullshit on this stream.
On this, you're here to talk to us about the nurse
Yep.
and all the gameplay changes and everything that's coming.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
crazy.
Super stoked.
So why we nerfed the nurse?
That's a great question. That's not the question that's written
I
here.
know. I'm gonna go with the question on the list because
Thank you.
also the name is very funny. Ding
Yeah.
Dongs
Hello, Ding
is
Dongs.
asking you, why does the nurse have 2 blood point add-ons?
Yeah.
Question mark.
So that's a great question. It's also a false question. She has 3. But let's get into that. So I want to start by saying that there is no rule that says that killers can only have 1 blood point add-on. Although we do like these, and there's been a pattern for a while now of introducing at least 1 add-on with like a drawback that lets you get blood points. Kind of like a little hard mode, just for people who want something different, a little challenge. Like we've done Speed Limiter was the original, and then we added Padded Jaws for the Trapper and the Beast for the Wraith. So the nurse is getting something similar with these White Knit Comb and Dull Bracelet. So it's kind of an option. I see it for like experienced players who are looking to switch things up. She actually has 3 because I would put Anxious Gasp in the same category. It's not so much a drawback for extra points, but it is an extra point add-on. And we did a little thing here with the nurse add-on when we reworked it. I'm going to get deeper into it later, but we reorganized them such that the effects are kind of organized by the lore character referenced on the add-on. Because the nurse's add-ons are all sort of objects that were taken from the people at the asylum, or the breath that has been extracted from these characters. So we kind of divvied them up based on who the character is for what they do, and the anxious girl is a character, and all of her related add-ons grant extra blood points. That was kind of her thing.
She's nice.
She's nice.
Thank you, anxious girl.
Yeah.
All right. Nuclear Burrito is asking, how did you determine what 3 seconds specifically was the best number to use as the cooldown? Or talking blink cooldown?
Yeah. So that's a great question.
Why not 2.5?
Why not 2.5? It's a great question. So people, I think, were expecting to see a lot of changes to add-ons. Nurse is a character who's been in the game for a long time. She was our first DLC killer. And the add-ons were done more in a style of our older original add-on sets, which had a lot of, typically it would be a small bonus plus a small downside. And more lately what we do is typically more focused, like here is just a specific upside on an add-on. So obviously people expected those were going to get redone. The big question mark was what changes are going to happen, if any, to the nurse's base ability. Now we've been saying we're not going to make huge changes, right? And when we said, okay, we're going to add a recharge rate to the blinks to make sure that you have to wait a little bit before you use blinks, some people accuse us of saying that this is not really a small change. So I sort of see where they're coming from in that they think it's going to have a really large effect. And that brings us back to why this length. So I still think it's kind of like a small change in terms of like, she still does exactly what she used to do. She still teleports. She's still super fast. She's still super scary.
Well, wait, super fast? You mean she has...
While blinking.
Okay.
Good point.
I was like,
thank you.
Let's talk about the speed.
No, her base speed didn't change. You're right. I just mean like her ability to blink. Her ability to blink is unchanged. What changed is that there is now a bit of a cooldown before you can use it. So why 3 seconds, 1 or 2.5? What we started with was looking at the fatigue. So we didn't take the choice to add this new mechanic lightly. And there's a bit of a clash with the existing, you might say the existing cooldown mechanic, which was fatigue. So when looking at fatigue plus cooldown, because we thought we really wanted to add the cooldown because the fatigue length was not enough time to let survivors make the maneuvers that we want to see them do after the nurse blinks. But we also don't want to just extend fatigue for so long that you're staring at your feet for up to 6 seconds. The sort of the fatigue mechanic, especially with the way that the camera moves, can be problematic, especially if it's going on for a long time.
So why not, for example, like we're just spitballing here.
Sure.
But why not just saying we're removing fatigue completely and we're putting blinks on cooldown? Also
a great question, because the fatigue actually still does something that we really want, which is for a small amount of time, you lose sight of the survivors. So what we really like the mechanic of, you lose sight, then you've got some time to regain your orientation, regain survivor position, and then you blink at them. Is it exactly perfect yet? Well, we're keeping a really close eye on it. This is basically what we've landed on with our play testing, with what we think is going to happen with it. And I'm going to be glued to my screen watching people play with the nurse as soon as I get home to see where we are with this particular timing. Also, if you absolutely hate having to recharge your blinks, there are add-ons that will let you do that faster.
So basically play, it's almost immediate. Like if you play both of the add-ons, you get to play Old Nurse without add-ons.
Almost.
Almost.
On PTB, it was down to 3 seconds. On live, it's down to 4 seconds to recharge 2 blinks if you stack both recharge add-ons.
So that changed a little bit.
It changed a little bit, yeah.
All right.
Lapis Infernalis.
Yes, thank you. What was the reason to give the nurse a cooldown mechanic for blinks and not simply a longer fatigue? Well,
that's kind of the same question.
Yeah, it's kind of the same question.
But it's fair, and you can get deeper into it. The fatigue, it is kind of a polarized mechanic as it is. I think, in fact, the nurse's fatigue currently, it might be the #1 thing stopping players from playing her, if for no other reason a lot of players kind of feel a little ill based on the camera shake when she looks down, which is the main reason we didn't want to push fatigue at the moment. We like the ability to look around and navigate properly during the recharge, as we said earlier.
All right. Wound Cowboy.
Wound Cowboy.
Will console nurse receive any help? She is already much more difficult to play than on PC, and now it will be even more difficult.
It's a great question, and I take it seriously. Console players might be confused. Why are all these changes coming for Nurse? Nurse seems like an underplayed character, seems like an underpowered character on consoles. So I don't think this is a Nurse console specific issue. This is a console controller issue. And we do take that seriously. There are plans currently to try to improve the console controller experience. One of the things that's going to be coming soonest, I don't have a...
Careful with the soon jokes.
It's just, this is probably the first thing that we're going to see, is more options in terms of controller sensitivity. It's something that's currently being worked on to give more controller sensitivity options, to be able to crank it up higher, crank it down lower, make sure that your console players are actually able to get the sensitivity that they need to play characters like the Nurse or the Huntress.
Yeah, because we've seen that feedback for a long time, and it's been a long time that we wanted to address it.
Yeah.
Now we're working on it.
The
Yay.
time is coming.
Soon TM. Yes, you are right, guys. All right, some more general questions, and then we can go back to your additional information.
Hell yeah.
That I have no idea what it is, so I'm going to learn it at the same time as you guys. All
More
right.
surprises.
So, will we be receiving a doctor buff next after the Nurse add-on rework? Because remember, we talked about that back in the days.
Absolutely. So the Doctor is scheduled for changes in an upcoming release. Unfortunately, we didn't come with any hard dates here.
Yeah.
Work is being done. So I don't know how to describe it exactly. I'm not just going to say, here is a Doctor buff.
Yeah.
The intention is not necessarily make the character stronger, but typically when we look at a character now, it's about, I can't read that. It's about, What? Sorry, I can't. Oh yeah, do that. Do it now. Thank you. We're getting a little help, a little help from out there. No, it's because I also brought some goodies, like some videos.
Yay.
Yeah. And someone's like, hey, we brought this cool video. It's true. I wanted, before we moved on too much from the Nurse, I brought a cool video of what you can do with some of the new add-ons. And this is, I believe this is Kavanaugh's Last Breath plus Campbell's Last Breath. Got it. So this lets you like charge up one blink and then just teleport across practically the entire map. Exactly.
I personally called it the yeet add-on.
Yeet thyself.
Yeah.
Because of how far she ends up going. It's pretty cool. Like this was an interesting add-on because it's not obviously strong. It's hard to control, but I'm sure that people are going to figure out neat things to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a couple of them, right?
A couple of videos?
Yeah. Or was it just this one?
We also brought one.
No? Okay.
No? Okay,
that
no,
was a
never
question
mind.
mark.
This is exactly the only one that I brought. Forget it. It's fine.
This is fine. Everything's
totally
fine
planned.
right now.
Everything is perfect. Thank you very much. Great. Okay, so moving on to general questions.
Yeah, moving on to the general question. Back to the, will we be receiving a doctor buff? So that's what we were talking about.
So let's be careful about characterizing it as a doctor buff. If we're looking at characters, we're looking at characters on the whole. What kind of quality of life upgrades can we make for the character to make them feel more fun to play? What kind of quality of life deficiencies for the players who are playing against them can we address? Can we make them essentially more fun to play and more fun to play against? And then we also want to take a look at what are the overall results. So I would say we are probably more focused on making sure that everyone's having a good time than making sure that everyone has exactly a balanced kill rate. But it is important to make sure that nothing gets too far out of hand, which I'll actually get back to in a second. So what we're looking for here is to make Doctor a better experience all around. Actually, I'll put it this way. Whether you guys are going to call it a buff or not, I am eager to see. Because sometimes it's a surprise to us. There you go. I'll put it that way.
All right.
And also important. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
is it going to be the next change? I also can't say.
Yeah.
May or may not be.
All right. A broke down palace. Now that you've done a big change to medkits and to their add-ons, can we look forward to similar reworks for other items, add-ons, and offering?
Yep.
People are specifically asking about keys and moris, iridescent heads, and player beads.
Oh, that's great. That's just a list of my favorite stuff. Okay, so the idea here is that we're trying to do little updates to these kinds of things in pretty much every release that we do. The list of items that you just mentioned is a pretty good one. I wouldn't say that all of these are being changed right away. I'd say that these are things that we've definitely had talks about. Every item on that list, you can be sure that it's something that we take seriously and that we've discussed. We are slowly going through all of the old gameplay content, all of the items and modular bits, the stuff that you can bring essentially, loadout options, and sort of refreshing them for the 2019, 2020, and the future, with everything that we've learned in our long time working on this game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The dev Alex, after Undetectable has been added to Michael Myers, do Premonition and Spine Chill still not work against him?
That's an excellent question. So for those who were not aware, Michael Myers in his Tier 1 in the past would not trigger Spine Chill or Premonition. So
why you nerf my favorite
Why you
build?
nerf my killer? Look,
no, I'm making jokes, but it's actually my favorite build, Tier 1 Myers. So.
Yeah. So what happened is we did a consistency path to make sure that all of the stealth killers were using similar technology. This makes it a lot more manageable. It makes figuring out what's happening in the game, especially for new players, a bit easier to figure out what's happening, how does it work, rather than having a hodgepodge of 4 different characters, all who work a little bit differently. So now everything's been streamlined. Every killer who has a stealth ability uses that to trigger Undetectable. And Undetectable does 3 things, and 3 things only. Undetectable makes your terror radius go away, it makes the red stain go away, and it makes so that you cannot be seen by aura reading perks. What it doesn't do is stop perks like Spine Chill and Premonition from triggering, or any other sort of weird things that might give away the fact that you are around.
Because they are not aura reading.
Because they're not aura reading. These are other things, because we are very creative and we can't help but create all kinds of weird new stuff all the time. It's wonderful.
And they can't all fit in a bucket.
They can't all fit in a bucket, but honestly, all this weird, wacky stuff is part of why I love this game so much. Despite the fact that it clashes a little bit with the name literally Undetectable, it's true. These perks will now detect Tier 1 Myers.
Yeah.
It's not all bad. The fact that he's getting Undetectable instead of his old kit means that he also has a 0-meter terror radius in Tier 1 as opposed to 6, which was really kind of an oddball number. Kind of came out of nowhere almost.
So Objective Obsession, for example, because that was one of the perks that's been mentioned a lot to kill stealth.
Yes.
That one will not work on these killers anymore.
Objective Obsession no longer superpowered against stealth killers.
Yeah. But works the other way, though.
Right. You can show yourself to the stealth killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Be careful out
It's
there.
a bargain.
Be careful.
All right. Mick Hardy, will it be easier to get protection hits for Medal of Man? Currently, this buff is unnoticeable due to how hard it is to get the perk to activate.
Yeah, so this change feels like almost a bit of a tease, right? We're like, here's a perk, it's really hard to activate, and here's the change.
You can activate
now
twice.
activate it twice. I understand. It's a little bit unfortunate that the changes are rolling out in the order that they're rolling out, but we actually have a long-term plan, right? We've got good long-term eyesight, despite the fact that I had to put glasses on to read the notes from our helpful staff. I swear we have a long-term vision here. And so changes are coming to protection hits. I think this was kind of a hint. I can't get into the exact details yet, but you should be seeing this sooner rather than later. I don't know if that's a trademark phrase. Anyway, they will be getting some updates to work, I guess, more intuitively. A lot of the time right now, you feel like you did something that would deserve a protection score event, and you didn't get one. So we're really looking into that to make sure that it feels better, and you get them when you expect to get them, that they just work more reliably.
Awesome. Although Spirit isn't part of the update, a lot of people are not eyeing her due to the nerf of the nurse. So I feel like this is somewhat relevant to the update, and a lot of people have been speculating of her future. Do you believe the Spirit will be worked on or nerfed in the future?
No, it's a great question. We've been seeing lots of discussion about this. Players, at least for the PC version, I see a lot of players discussions putting Nurse and Spirit up there in the highest of tiers, and since changes to the Nurse happened, people couldn't help but wonder what's going to happen now to this other character who seems like a clear outlier. The Spirit is a statistical outlier. Since we were talking before about just like pure success rates and what do the stats look like, the Nurse was a character who didn't have stats that were too far out of the ordinary, because of there's a lot of interesting stuff about the fact that she's a lot harder to play than other characters, a lot harder to pick
So
up.
basically, the numbers are kind of evening out.
Right. Nurse didn't get changes based on the fact that she killed too many people as a whole. It was for specific issues with the killer. Spirit is a killer who's overperforming in such a way that, there are some changes that will be coming to Spirit. I don't have what yet, I don't have when yet, but it is something that we're looking at. And we're not here to destroy any killer or ruin anybody's fun. Like I said, anytime we're looking at a killer, it's also a good opportunity to make quality of life improvements. We like all of our characters. We want to see all of our characters played and enjoyed and played against and enjoyed.
You talked about success rate from killers, right?
Yes.
And it's been a while since we actually showed data.
Yes.
We do have data, so we're going to poke some people out there to maybe show something this week or next week.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be like a follow-up communication for this, which should hopefully be able to fill in the gaps of what we weren't able to bring with us.
The latest information I have on this is the most lethal killer right now is Freddy,
That's amazing.
the Nightmare.
Right.
So yeah, that doesn't mean that the other ones are not doing good. All right, you had brought more stuff.
I just had some notes.
More stuff.
I just had some notes.
Do you need your glasses though?
Ah!
That was you needed to do a Murloc sound there.
Okay, so I just made some notes about things that happened in this patch that were cool, that maybe are worth spining a shotlight on.
Okay.
What?
Shining a spotlight on.
What are you doing with the light?
When we were going over the nurse, there were some things like when we sat down, like what were some of the overarching goals, right? You might wonder, here's the end result, but what did you have in mind going into it? So I had some notes here about what were some things that we wanted to change when we sat down before any changes had been made. And my notes here say, no Omega Blink. And so some people might not know what that means. She previously had add-ons that would increase her range, but they did not change how long it took to fully charge her power, which meant that you could actually get a similar amount of range with a much shorter time, or just ludicrously large amounts of distance, whatever. So the community called this the Omega Blink, and it was problematic. So that was one thing that we sat down and we wanted to say, okay, something has to be done about this. We wanted to do something about the cases of like 5 blinks.
Five
right?
blinks.
Right. The nurse who can just blink and then she misses and then she misses again and now okay it's fine.
And
She's still got.
she hits the locker because.
And she hits locker.
Yes.
But like basically being able to just continuously blink, blink, blink and not have to really aim. We want to make sure that she's still someone who a really skilled player can like get really good performance out of, but that you can't just miss all the time and still end up killing people. We also wanted, on the more positive side, because like I said, we're not just here to destroy the character, we love the nurse, I'm hoping to see her played more, not less. I myself will be playing her tonight.
I know that I will play add-ons for the first time.
Right.
Because I'm actually having fun with some of these add-ons.
Point number 3 of our intentions going into this, no muscle memory disruption. This was a big point. Something that a lot of players came to us with was like, this is a really technical character. A lot of people come to me and say, this is a character that reminds us a lot of like fighting game characters, right? Where the timing and precision is extremely important. And a lot of her add-ons would just slightly throw a wrench into that. And so people didn't even want to put them on, even if they were technically to make her stronger, because it just messed with their muscle memory. So one of our goals going into this was to make sure that none of her add-ons would wreck your muscle memory that you get from playing the killer. So we have some that will let you go further if you charge longer than you could before, but nothing that will change what distance you're going to go for the same amount of charge. So the muscle memory would not be messed with. That was goal number 3. I had another point here about the nurse reappearance, because like there were so many changes, it's easy to lose some of the little wiggle ones. What does it mean when we say she reappears a bit earlier? So this isn't a technical change to how the blink works, it was a visual effects thing. Used to be, she would only start reappearing, which takes a little bit, like 0.3 seconds,
after she
arrives. So you could easily be blocked or hit by an invisible killer, which didn't feel good. So we just tried to make sure that by the time she is fully present, she is also fully visible. I just thought that was neat, and I was happy about it. If you were wondering, because we mentioned it earlier, about how every lore character had sort of like an associated set of effects, if you care about lore, I'm just picturing people writing L omega lol RE.
Yeah, is that coming?
It's coming, and I'm sure it's coming.
Give us a minute, like, so they get the live one, and then we're gonna see those lore.
I can't wait. Anyway, so for the characters that she's excellent. Thank you guys. So we've got a couple of characters that she interacts with, right? So the nurse was an actual nurse at an asylum, interacted with a bunch of people, and their items and
what did you do?
Oh, okay, sorry. their items were the things that she collected, and so there's an anxious girl, right? And the anxious girl's items give her extra blood points.
She gives blood point because she's so scared. She goes, blah. Here's your blood point.
The bad man.
That's not real lore, that, by the way. I just made that up.
We just made that up. The bad man was a violent dude. His add-ons grant you effects when you hit people. Seems pretty straightforward. The catatonic boy reduces fatigue because he's sleeping all the time. Father Campbell grants increased blink recharge rate on his items. I don't have some kind of like flippy rationale for that, but that's what he does. Thank you. And Kavanaugh, who was an orderly, he lets you blink further. So that's how they're sort of organized. Now you might ask, what the heck is Jenner's last breath? Who is Mary Jenner? I'm sure that all of you have gone through and been like analyzing the lore of the situation.
I mean,
like,
it's keeping me up at night. I'm asking myself this question every day.
Right. So I actually had to go back to the source and dig deep into forbidden lore and find out that Mary Jenner is actually the name of the anxious girl.
What?
But I didn't know that when we made Jenner's last breath.
So Jenner's when we name her with her real name, she's like, my blood points. No, you're not getting them.
Yeah, sorry about that. So that the system falls apart slightly.
It's okay.
Nurse Morris is also mentioned because she has a pocket watch, but she didn't get she get something associated with her because she only had one thing.
I can now sleep at night.
You're absolutely welcome. Other than, okay, I had my big note here was Pantsless Myers, but we already stole the thunder on that one.
Yep.
Yeah. And we've got here Styptic Agent, an anti-hemorrhagic syringe.
Yes. There was no specific questions on this in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Well, we can address it. We have time. We still have like 5 minutes.
Mostly, I just wanted to mention that people played with the first version of these changes on the PTB, where these no longer do instant heal. Instead, the Styptic Agent gives you the sort of the endurance shield effect, where if you would go down, instead you don't, and you have deep wounds, similar to Borrowed Time. And the syringe would automatically heal you after a certain amount of time, instead of instantly. Now, we've changed the numbers from the PTB to live. And I believe it's mentioned that we changed the numbers on the patch notes, but then also if you scroll down to a part of the patch notes that announces the change in the first place, it still has the old numbers, so apologies. So if there's any confusion,
we can change it.
Styptic Agent, the endurance effect was 15 seconds on the PTB, it is 8 seconds on live, and the anti-hemorrhagic syringe took 8 seconds to trigger on the PTB. It takes 16 seconds.
Why so long?
That actually is a very specific number. That is the amount of time it usually takes to heal. And what's cool is that anti-hemorrhagic syringe's effect is affected by anything that would affect healing time. So if you have botany knowledge or anything like that.
And any negative?
And any negative.
Okay.
So it's like a heal that's happening, but automatically. And it's affected by things that would happen for healing. There you go. Those were just some little things that I noticed in the patch notes. Wanted to talk about them.
All right, guys.
And I'm done.
Look, it's been a while since we did a Q&A, live Q&A before this. I'm really hoping that we can a few more in a short time.
Maybe in normal clothes next time.
Yeah. maybe in normal clothes. He really doesn't like the bunny, guys.
I don't know. I'm hooked on
I'm very comfortable, so I'm good. But
no, Louis and I are definitely both uncomfortable.
I don't know. I'm getting used to it. I'm getting into this now.
It's okay. You got the cool one. Justin was just bitching about the bunny because he's like, but I wanted the Murloc.
I'll be the bunny next
time. Look, I can lean into it. It's fine. I'm doing it already.
All right, guys. So just to
I like your bow,
recap, just to
an
recap
extra touch.
quickly, update is live for Steam, PS4, Xbox today. So go enjoy the event, the archive, everything is under control, so we're good. For Switch, we still have some major issues to fix up. So sadly, we don't have the update live yet. No ETA yet either. We talked a little bit about dedicated servers. We told you tomorrow is Halloween contest results. So we're gonna push that on social media, so check them out because this community has a lot of talent. Blood Hunt starting tomorrow, 11 a.m. up until Monday, November 4th at 11 a.m. as well, Eastern.
Yeah, and if I can touch on that, so with archives, you can get more blood points from the challenges. With the Withering Blight event, you can get blood points from activating the offering.
Wait, so the blood point it's added up to the challenge blood points as well?
No.
Okay. I was getting really excited right now. I was like, wow, this is new.
But the blood points that you earn from
Yeah, you
the blood points.
me.
No, I'd be a crazy man. So the blood points that you earn from the Withering Blight event inside the match, those will be affected by the Blood Hunt. Anything from the archives.
Not the challenge.
Exact. Archives challenges, because you earn those outside of a match, they are not affected by the Blood Hunt.
All right.
we wouldn't want to start adding strategies about when to do the challenges to like maximize on, like that's probably not a
Maximize the blood point gain.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure someone else out there knows the math behind it already.
Polyester has a spreadsheet already.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Filling in the numbers.
It was really great seeing you today. Happy Halloween. Happy Withering Blight.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.